Okay, we are live once again. Hey, Greg, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Welcome back. Got some exciting stuff I want to talk about. Everything's exciting when it comes to health. We're going to start here on the Healthier Ever After podcast. Before we do, just a little reminder that everything we talk about here is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended to be personal medical advice. We discuss a lot of things: GLP-1 medications, weight loss strategies, nutrition, supplements, and other programs. This is not a substitute for personalized medical care. Always consult your physician or licensed medical provider before starting or changing any medications or supplements or health programs.
Yeah.
So last week we talked a little bit about GLP-1, kind of introduced GLP-1s. That's medicines like semaglutide, tirzepatide, liraglutide, upcoming retatrutide.
Retatrutide, right? Yeah, and those are
coming down the pike, right?
Yeah, those are more the, of course, generic names for these common brand names: Ozempic, Wegovy,
right?
What's the tirzepatide?
Zepbound.
Zepbound, yeah. Yep. So, I mean, you're going to hear about 10 different GLP-1 medications that, are they're commonly called, several things. That's with all medications. We have to learn about 3 or 4 different names per medication. But when we talk about GLP-1s, we're usually going to keep them in their generic form. There's a lot of, obviously, name brand medications being used, as well as compounded medication. So we usually try to keep it generic to just, you know.
And so we talk about them a lot. And I think if I had to review kind of what's your overarching theory or philosophy behind these, they're great tools. They're amazing. They are magical. They are whatever you want to call them, good things, but they are a tool. They're a tool to have in a tool bag. And the intent is to make it easier to do the kind of lifestyle changes that we've talked about,
right?
That need to happen to have a sustainable, long-term health and weight loss effect. Right on that? Is that like an easy way to review that?
Absolutely. And I think that's just it, is it's just a tool. I mean, there is no perfect or easy answer to weight loss in general. It usually is a combination of tools, as well as, strategies that you put together, hopefully lifestyle, sustainable strategies, which is of course what we advocate for. We're not looking for a quick fix. Sometimes I think that the GLP-1s get a bad rap. They're like, people are just taking the easy way out,
and it's cheating. You're cheating somehow. It's just doing some weird thing, and it's not making you healthier or anything.
I would say that 50% plus, I haven't actually broke down the numbers. 50% plus of the patients I see in clinic it is not still an easy journey for them. They still have to work at it. They still have to put in the time. And yes, this tool does make it much easier, but it's not just a gimme that they're just going to drop the weight, or they may drop some weight and then they get stuck. And that's really where the work comes in. And we're going to actually talk about that on our next episode. Some of the strategies, some of the things that, that weight loss is not just, take this medication,
and magically you're going to be skinny.
So
okay. So we also have talked about in the past about how we want to obtain and maintain healthy weight loss. It really involves focusing not just on a number on a scale, but on your overall health. And to that end, we kind of have our little catchphrase, or mine is you need to have a calorie deficit, not a nutrition deficit.
I use it all the time now. It can be definitely our catchphrase. I think it's such a good one.
And it's great. But that's really an important thing, because as you are focusing on, smaller portions and less frequent eating, whatever your little strategies are, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. I mean, that sounds silly, calories in, calories out, calories burned. But a lot of times that leads to a nutrition deficit. I'm just going to stop eating everything. And so you lose some minerals and vitamins and things like that. So let's talk about that tonight, like supplements, right? Like things that you can use instead of a big plate of food to get the healthy, essential supplements. Or nutrition. I guess I would say supplements. And let's talk about that a little bit. It's a huge industry,
huge industry. And yes. And what Rick's talking about is really, we talked about the macronutrients, the protein, even carbs, limiting your bad carbs. Not all carbs are bad. Even getting your good healthy fats. I mean, those are all your macronutrients, your big nutrients.
Just our medical term, macro, it means big.
Yep.
And micro means small,
So
right? Like macronutrients are your proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Right.
And we just really want to talk about the micro stuff, and the reason why we decided to do, specifically this subject today is because one of the most common questions we get from patients are what supplements, right? I get 50 million ads on Facebook and now I'm losing weight and I'm getting healthier and I would love to be able to be on the right supplements. What does that even mean? What are the right supplements? And so we're going to go over some of the supplements that we think are really good for the general population, usually specifically even those that are people that are losing weight, why supplements matter, when should supplements be used? Should you just be taking handfuls of supplements all day long? I would say no.
Yeah.
But because really, you really need to get some of your nutrients from your actual food. But we really do believe that supplements do have their place in weight loss and in general health. But also there's a lot of hype around them. There's a lot of promises.
There's a lot of marketing opposed to medicine.
Yeah.
Is that how you say that?
Absolutely. And so we want to talk about that, what kind of matters. This may be individualized. And of course, we want you to talk to your own personal provider about what they recommend. But, really, we want to give an overlay of some of the supplements that we like, why we like them, what they can kind of help with and give you support with while you're doing this.
Yeah. Can I just emphasize that you mentioned, talk to your healthcare provider about that. I think that's super important because we're going to talk about some supplements that it's really important to know where you're at on some of these, like some, right? So
you got to check your vitamin D levels.
Check your levels, get some lab work done with your provider and go over that and see where you're at. If you're, if you're fine, if you're low, if you're high, whatever, that can tailor individually based on your medical provider's evaluation of really what you are lacking.
Yeah.
Is that right?
There's a lot of places you can get weight loss medications where you don't have to talk to a medical provider, where you really have no follow up guidance. I wish that doing weight loss medication, weight loss or obesity treatment, in my clinic, I wish it was as easy as just writing a prescription and everything else took care of itself. It's not. It's much more complex than that. Now, yes, you get your rare patient that comes in and, they do well on the medication. They seem to be able to just find that right balance of medication and nutrients and working out and everything just kind of lines up for them. That is not a common patient for anyone that I know of that does it. I mean, most of the patients that come in, if it was that easy to lose weight, they would never need us in the first place. They're coming in to us as medical providers to actually get some solutions and some help.
Right. Well, so if you were to say how many people you see in clinic that come in and say, hey, I'm everything's working for me. Right. Like they all, they're all, by the time they come into the clinic, it's like, I've tried all these things. I've been doing this. I mean, they've been working for a while, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I just can't get over this thing or this hump or figure this out, right?
Yeah. So Rick had pointed this out in the beginning, the GLP-1s, right? They're just a tool. Supplements are just a tool. They're just part of this algorithm of saying, hey, we want to be nutritionally sound while we do this. We want to keep the nutrients up, keeping the calories down. How do we do that so that our body doesn't go into complete panic mode and think, boy, I'm starving or I'm lacking nutrients that I need in order to support really just basic functions?
Well, and say you're low on your vitamin D, right? Your body perceives this and the only signal that your body will give you is eat more food.
Yep.
Right. You don't, there's no specific like, hey, you're low on vitamin D or your B12 is a little off. It's something's wrong. Eat more food.
Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, if your body would just tell you like a little voice in your head, my voice would probably be like in Spanish or something. So I couldn't understand it anyways, but you could. But yeah, it's of course it'd be great if your body could give you that signal, but what your body does is it turns up the hunger hormones. It really ramps things up because it's trying to get you to go find whatever you're deficient in. once, like Rick said, it's not going to give you the answer for that. So we're going to talk about some more general stuff, for the average person watching this, and hopefully it can give you some insight into why your body might be doing something, and maybe even prompt you to go and have some lab work done and see if there's any nutritional deficits that would be helpful to really to discover and then treat, whether that's changing your diet, whether it's actual, supplementation with the micro or small nutrients that you need. We're going to talk about a few of those things.
Right. So somebody's going to start like, okay, I'm working on this. I'm in a program now. I really confident I can move forward. I've got lab work done. I've talked to my doctor and I need some supplements. Right.
Yep.
So what are maybe some expectations to set? Like, is that?
Well, I think the biggest thing to point out as we get kind of started down this supplement road is pointing out that these are tools like the GLP-1s to help fill nutritional gaps, right? These are not just, and once again, a lot of supplement companies can overpromise and underdeliver. If you run into any supplements that's going to say, hey, this is going to make the weight just fall off, you're not going to have to do anything, just take these pills every day, and these only cost you $300 a month or whatnot. The problem with those is that they just don't work. It's a bunch of marketing and not medicine.
Right.
And so it really ends up coming, and maybe those supplements are actually decent, but what they're not going to do is they're not going to do the work for you. They're just a tool to help you be successful in helping your body really lose, I wouldn't even say lose weight, but helping your body support the natural function of your body while it's losing weight.
But not a replacement for diet, sleep, or activity.
100%. So really, in an ideal world, we would just get all our nutrients from our food.
Yeah.
But once again, when you're cutting down, when you're in a calorie deficit, and you're trying to keep your nutritional sources up, that's not always possible. We're lucky in this day and age where we do have a ton of tools, a ton of supplements that are available to us. We don't need to necessarily be taking handfuls of pills in order to achieve those some of those deficiencies that we could have.
Yeah. Okay.
So I actually wrote a list just so we're not getting off track here, and so we can kind of keep.
How would we ever get off track?
Right. Never.
I think usually if I open my mouth and start talking, I'm like off track.
Yeah. Well, let's talk with you had mentioned vitamin D, which is going to be one of the really important ones, and I actually have that right here. Of course, I can't get to my page. You can tell we're very experienced in this, live streaming stuff. I had wrote it down. Oh, well, I have omega-3s there, but I was actually wanting to talk about vitamin D first. There it is.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I have found in a lot of patients that are losing weight, either beginning to lose weight or when we go and actually do lab work and check a lot of patients' labs prior to even starting a weight loss program, just to see if there's any concerns there with the thyroid or are they anemic or what's going on. Oftentimes we'll check a vitamin D level. And, I will say that and this is just my anecdotal in clinic experience, but 60 to 70% of patients that I check are vitamin D deficient. Now we have a lot of things like this could be that their, calcium is, nutritional calcium is down overall. A lot of adults, whether it be for tolerance or they just don't like milk anymore. A lot of us got our vitamin D and calcium as children from high milk intake. That's not nearly as prominent now. It seems like there's a lot more GI associated issues with that, with dairy and things like that. So,
see, my problem is milk is always more yummy on Captain Crunch.
Yes, yeah, that one can be challenged. So, a lot of people just are not drinking straight milk. Now, some people are, and in that case, they're probably getting fairly decent levels of vitamin D and even calcium. Both of them are required to absorb for each other. So, vitamin D is going to support. It's going to help you create hormones. Mm-hmm. So, when people are talking about hormone imbalances of why they think they might be overweight, I hear it pretty regularly, especially amongst female patients, but amongst men as well, is I think I'm having such a difficult time losing weight because my hormones are off. The good news is for most people, when I do check their hormones, most of the time they're not off so significantly that we actually need to start any kind of treatment. And in a lot of cases, if you want to support your hormones, once again, you got to support your nutrition. Vitamin D is one of those very important vitamins that's going to support your hormone production and balance. because if you can produce the hormones, your body is a really amazing self-regulating system and can balance these hormones if you give it the tools it needs.
Yeah.
If you're low on vitamin D, a sign of low of vitamin D may be fatigue. It may be like achy bones and joints. I definitely, we've definitely found the immune deficiencies in vitamin D. We found that during COVID, how prominent it was that patients, and don't quote me on this study, I read it, but I don't have it here with us. But patients low on vitamin D did significantly worse when COVID was originally, we were trying to figure out who's doing better, who's doing worse. Vitamin D deficiencies they found were doing significantly worse. And that was because so many people they were finding were low on vitamin D. And this hadn't been something that was being regularly checked at that time. I think it's a lot more
common to do that.
Yeah, even in basic labs, which wasn't as common. So, vitamin D hormone support, immune support, we just talked about that, bone and health support. So your bone support, especially peri and postmenopausal women, your estrogen is going to drop. You need good bone support. So that's going to be vitamin D as well as calcium and oftentimes K2 that comes with these supplements. These are all very important for absorption and your overall bone health. So such an important thing. The last thing we want to do while you're losing weight is lose good bone density.
Right.
And that's, especially once again, you get into that, you're getting into your late 40s, you're getting into menopause, or you're even in your 50s or 60s, and you've already kind of been through menopause. So important to keep as much good bone density as you possibly can. You're losing weight, you're getting healthier to really promote your health, not to be able to break a hip if the wind blows.
Right.
So mood regulation, there's a lot of people that actually feel just down in their mood, and so that you might attribute this to even lower vitamin D levels in the wintertime, right? Seasonal depression. So a lot of times it is associated with changes in mood or like a down mood. I've watched patients, now this is once again more anecdotal than scientific. I've watched patients with really low vitamin D levels, 19, 20, and then they get their vitamin D levels up, their energy's up, their mood's way better.
Working better.
Yeah. So, vitamin D is one of those really important ones that I think is probably one of the most underrated ones that I see.
Yeah. Well, and you maybe because you notice it more, it's important. It's extremely helpful in a lot of functions, and it's likely, I would say, one of the most commonly low micronutrients.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the education is getting out there. I think it's starting to be more widely, kind of known that this is something that we're lower on. Maybe we work all inside jobs and avoid the sun more, and because we're all trying to avoid skin cancer or whatever. Maybe there's a number of factors, I'm sure, but either way, vitamin D extremely important. Even if you're getting lots of sun. My brother wouldn't care if I picked on him. He does swimming pools. And you wouldn't believe that a guy that does swimming pools spends tons of time outside all day. He couldn't believe me when I wanted to check his vitamin D levels.
What are you talking about? I'm in the sun all day.
Yep. Yeah. And then we talked about, I'm like, hey, look, you're kind of feeling crummy, you're fatigued. And so, we ended up checking his, he was like 19, really, really low. Now, of course, we got to talking about it. He's in a long sleeve shirt. He's wearing a hat. He's always taking all these measures to make sure he's not getting any sun on his skin because he's outside all day. So, not to mention we kind of started talking about it, and we found out, really he's hardly getting any calcium. So even if he's getting a bunch of vitamin D, how much is he absorbing? Because he's really not getting any calcium.
So you need those for your body to absorb it and be able to use it.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So vitamin D, check.
Vitamin D. Yeah, check.
Like that. That's a supplement worth paying for.
Yeah.
There's medicine behind that one, not just marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really, you don't necessarily have to get the most expensive vitamin D on the market. It's not always necessarily, cost is not always attributed to necessarily how good the vitamin D is.
Yeah.
Although you'll see some marketing that would have you convinced that the more you spend, the better vitamin D, K2, calcium you're going to get. Me and Rick, are involved with a company, Get Weight Wise. Well,
GetWeightWise.com. Yeah. So we've actually, we don't want to just over market, but because we're a fan, if you've got something that's working, that's great. But we have put together a little website, GetWeightWise.com. We've kind of gone through and selected and handpicked some supplements that we think are worth looking into that are helpful, that are quality, and you can get a good calcium, or I'm sorry, vitamin D with K2.
Yeah, and calcium.
Yeah,
it's a great one. We went in there and selected some that we really like to be able to really just hopefully be able to help some people. So that's just one of our things that we're doing to be able to get that out to people at a really reasonable price. They're not overpriced. And so really and great. You just made sure they're good quality vitamins and minerals. So that's one that's once again you can look at, but omega-3s is another really important and popular one that I oftentimes get asked about. Omega-3s, they're once again just another one of those things where it's like, how much fish are you actually getting? How are you eating a lot of nuts? Are you eating a lot of other good things that have a lot of good fats in them?
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people, especially when they're losing weight, frankly, the answer is, like, if they do an inventory of their diet, the answer is no. I don't really get enough of the good fats, right? Not the saturated, not.
So if you're eating lots of avocados and salmon, you're getting omega-3s from your food.
Yeah.
But you may not be getting quite enough of that. And so the omega-3 would be a supplement worth looking into.
Absolutely. Omega-3s are great. Reduces inflammation, actually improves insulin sensitivity, helps with your cardiovascular health, which is obviously one of the big reasons why a lot of people want to lose weight, is they want help with that. So omega-3s are a good one. They're definitely worth the hype. Once again, do you need to be taking more in the omega-3 world? More is not less. How did I said that wrong? More is less. No, how do you say that? I had a little stroke. No worries. More is not better. Yeah. You want to really actually just take a recommended amount that's on the vitamins or like
you need the right amount. You don't need to just overdo and overkill.
Yeah, it's not like if it says to take 2 capsules, don't take 4. You're not going to get any benefit from there. There's actually been shown to be lack of benefits and increased risks, health risks, if you overdo it, not just on this one, but like even your vitamin D, right? It's fat soluble. You want a certain amount. You don't want to overdo it. Omega-3s are no different. I was just, when I was saying that, I was thinking of a study that I read that some people think, well, if 2 omega-3s are good, 2 capsules are good, then 4 is better. And they found that actually overdoing it on omega-3s can increase your risk for stroke and other things that you're actually trying to reduce your risk for. So don't overdo it on the omega-3s. Take them as your healthcare provider would recommend, and or whatever's on the label.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, omega-3 is an important one.
Very important. Another thing that I know me and Rick are big fans of, we've talked about them many times, are medications that like digestive enzymes.
Oh my goodness, especially if you're on GLP-1s.
Yeah. So GLP-1 support, right? Or just general support for weight loss. A lot of times your gut in a lot of cases is just going to be changing, adapting. You're going to be changing your diet. You're going to be usually,
I might say your gut is going to be uncooperative.
In many cases,
I don't know what a better word is.
Yeah.
Your intestines cause problems
Yeah.
When you're changing your diet, when you're using certain medications.
Yeah. So support your gut biome. That's going to support your hormones. It's actually going to support the weight loss itself, right? Because, you can take all the vitamins and nutrients you want, but if your gut health is not in check, if you're not keeping everything good, unfortunately, you're just not going to absorb as much. You're not going to, we have digestive enzymes that we already produce from our, that we naturally produce. And if they're not in check, then unfortunately, you're just not going to absorb nutrients nearly as well. So taking a good digestive enzyme, especially if you know that, like, hey, look, it's taco night and taco night ruins my gut, right? You can have something that actually helps support calming down, how you're going to do with that. Sometimes we just overindulge, right? You just end up eating a little more than you expected, and it upsets your stomach, and you've been working on weight loss and now you overdid it. It's always nice to have a supplement on hand that can help with that digestive support, and so that you can hopefully stay ahead of that. And because some foods really do just set you off. They're good foods, they're even maybe healthy foods, but some foods just don't agree with your stomach, and digestive enzymes can usually help kind of calm everything down, help with digestion, and include helping digest nutrients that you really need.
So can I share a personal story?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're here for, right?
So when we talk about, some of the support, like this is good overall health, specifically with people taking GLP-1 medications.
Yeah.
the biggest reason people stop or can't continue with that is gastrointestinal side effects.
Absolutely.
Did you say that?
Number one reason.
Nausea, the big one. But diarrhea, and more commonly, constipation.
Yep.
I remember I was talking to a patient, and he was just going to start. You know, he and his wife actually are starting semaglutide, and I talking to them about what to expect, how we're going to start the dose and all that kind of stuff. And I mentioned something. I said you let me know how your gut health goes. How if you experience a lot of nausea, if you experience constipation. And I said don't be surprised if you get impressive constipation.
Yeah.
And they kind of giggled at that, and they're like, wow, what is that? And about, I don't know, 3 weeks later, called me. He was like, I understand what you were talking about.
Yep.
Impressive. I mean, this is like, not to get gross, but sit on the toilet and try to deposit a brick.
Yeah.
And it can be very uncomfortable. Now,
yeah, especially if you're a regular guy. I mean, if you're or gal and you go from
regular to bricks,
you are like, no,
right.
This doesn't work.
Right. So personally, I knew of that because I knew of that.
Right.
From time on the toilet. Right. But I'm telling you that a good digestive enzyme, and actually there's three things: the digestive enzyme, the gut health that we have, and then magnesium glycinate.
Absolutely.
Those three things are like a dream.
Yes.
And I'm not going to get into the details, but
but gut health is important for your immune system, for hormone balance, for all these things. But when you're losing weight, especially if you're using GLP-1s, which really a ton of the population is. So, and of course, we're going to talk about a lot of that here. We want to be able to give you all the support tools you need, and gut health, something that gut health, prebiotics and probiotics, keeping the gut healthy and good, keep things moving along. Digestive enzymes, which is going to help with digestion and absorption. And then, like you said, magnesium, we can talk about that next. It's a fantastic supplement.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, so magnesium in a lot of ways is one of the more popular ones. Vitamin D and magnesium probably have the most traction, I think, right now. I read and watch a ton of content, and I would say those magnesium as well as vitamin D are probably have the most traction in terms of the health benefits.
So magnesium, isn't that a laxative?
Well,
so
in certain forms it is.
Yeah.
Certain forms it is, right? So magnesium that absorbs well is not a laxative. In fact, it absorbs in the system well, and once again provides support for hormone support. It's going to be an excellent sleep aid. It's going to help provide your body with the tools it needs to be able to get into a good sleep pattern. So a lot of people will use like magnesium glycinate for good help and sleep support. Even some kind of anecdotal cases in terms of mood and even anxiety, because it has like that kind of calming effect. And so fantastic. It also helps with that vitamin D and calcium for absorption, because it's all works on each other. We know, going down to the, if you think about our other job, even in terms of heart health, we can have dysrhythmias and things like that if you have low enough magnesium. And so even though that's not super common and not something that you should probably generally worry about, the general human being that's eating enough food, it is something that we see a lot of times when someone has, some horrible gastroenteritis cases, or little old ladies that aren't eating or things like that. So, magnesium citrate,
that doesn't get absorbed.
Yes.
It comes right out.
Yeah. Don't buy that one to supplement magnesium, unless I guess on the flip side, if you're on a GLP-1 and you are constipated and need to get things moving, that would be a good option there. But that magnesium,
but it's not going to get absorbed into your body. That works in the GI tract to kind of lubricate the whole process.
Yes.
Of eliminating waste.
Yeah. So, not the funnest experience, but sometimes necessary.
But so magnesium, you said glycinate.
Glycinate is a fantastic one. Oxide is pretty good too. Glycinate being probably the most popular one. Now, you can go find about 15 different magnesiums out there. There's always these little, oh, they took, you know, something, they moved something over here and call it a different type of magnesium. Really, glycinate has been studied as much as any of them. It's the most common one. It's the most readily absorbable one. So a magnesium glycinate is going to be fantastic.
And your body can absorb and use that better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of times, once again, taking more is not always better. You know, if taking 2 magnesium as recommended on like the manufacturer's bottle for sleep and for overall wellness, it says 2, then you should probably stick with 2. 4 is not better.
Yeah.
So yeah, really you don't need to overdo it on that one. And once again, a lot of these vitamins and minerals we're talking about, including the gut health and everything else we've been talking about, a lot of times all play on each other. They all help each other absorb and help the function of each one. So yeah, it's really just important to really just focus in on making sure that you're not overdoing it on these. You don't need to necessarily take all of them, but look at the different manufacturers' recommendations for things that these can help with. And we're only, you know, brushing the surface on this to really just see, hey, what am I needing? What do I feel like I'm lacking in my own diet? And where do I need to supplement in order to make it to where I feel like I'm getting all the nutrients I need? Sitting down with your healthcare provider and really going over you know, your labs as well as your overall diet to see, hey, where are the nutritional deficits and where can I supplement to make up those deficiencies?
Cool. Okay. So we've been over vitamin D with vitamin K. We've been over omega-3s.
Yeah.
We talked about magnesium. We got other important ones.
Honestly, a good general multivitamin. I mean, we might have even could have started with that. I mean, it's going to have most of these things already in there. The one that we have on our website, which we love, is just full of a lot of all your general stuff. It's not going to be too high in any one thing. It's going to be a general multivitamin for saying, hey, we're gonna kind of cover the basis of what your nutrients should look like as a multivitamin for a supplement. And it's, once again, to supplement. It's not to replace.
Right. Yeah.
But to supplement nutrients. And so a good multivitamin is, a lot of times, if you're just wondering where to start, that could be a perfect starting spot. Just a complete multivitamin that's going to cover your basis for all your different nutritional nutrition deficits. And your body does a really good job of figuring out the rest. Your body can, or, you know, if you're not overdoing it too much on anything, which a good complete multivitamin will usually not. A good one will not overdo it.
So a good complete multivitamin. And then based on your conversation with your healthcare provider, your vitamin D, your vitamin K,
potentially magnesium,
your magnesium, based on your gut health and function, a good digestive enzyme, and omega-3s.
Yeah.
Sprinkled in there.
I think it's important to just point out.
So those are 5 worth looking into.
Magnesium. Well, magnesium too, but it's supplements are not all benign. It's not like you can take them. I mean, you've seen in your emergency career, like people that just overdo it and that can pose health risks as much as being like having a nutritional deficit.
Yeah, well, exactly. Especially, you know, like a multivitamin with iron. I mean, the iron specifically is an extremely dangerous in overdose. Yeah, especially in kids. Right?
Yeah. So it's not that you can just take handfuls of whatever and just be safe and your body will sort it all out. Now, once again, if you get on a reasonable brand and you're not overdoing it, you're taking it as it's recommended, as well as with working with a medical provider. In many cases, it's actually going to benefit your health. But I guess I just want to point out the fact that it's not all. You can't just take whatever you want, and there's no harm or danger in that. Anytime you're putting something in your body, right? You can always it can always pose risks.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. That nutritional supplements are to supplement, not to replace. And so talk to your provider. I think that's good for kind of a primer on
vitamins. Yeah, we'll get
vitamins, on micronutrients, and we can talk about each of these for an hour, but people don't want to do that. So let's wrap it up with that. Like, any last words? Any little snippets?
No, I just think it's really important to do a when you're getting started on this process, do a good baseline of like, hey, what am I getting? Am I getting fruits and veggies? Am I getting, am I getting all the nutrients that I need? And if you're not, and you really would like to supplement, feeling like you're not, it's probably a good time to just start looking at some of these supplements and once again, doing some blood work and just seeing if there's any deficiencies that you need to make.
I like that. Yeah. Did you talk to your provider? I think you mentioned that at one time, I don't know if it was not here, but that the goal is not more supplements. It is smarter supplements.
Yeah.
And we want that, and that's an individual thing. And it can be based on some of your conversations and actual blood work and levels in your body and how your body's working. Nobody's the same. Everybody's got a little difference. And so one person might need a little bit more of one thing or other. Sure. That's why we recommend following up with your medical provider. But it is worth having a conversation, especially as part of your overall health and weight loss plan.
Absolutely. And they're just for support. They're not going to, anything that overpromises, don't buy into it. Don't spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on vitamins. If it's not absolutely necessary and recommended by your medical provider. In that case, you might want to look at your medical provider. Are they selling them?
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars is probably not necessary for nutritional supplements.
Most likely not.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. As we mentioned, make sure you talk to your healthcare provider, particularly with regard to your supplements and any medications or weight loss programs that you are starting. Our information here is not intended to replace any individual consultation and information or advice from your medical provider. All right, we'll wrap up there, and we'll see you all next time.